Yes, well, between the liners, welcome back to the show. Manchester United have beaten Aston Villa 3-2 at Old Trafford. The weight of the world is off my shoulders, let alone Rasmus Højlund's shoulders. Finally, that kid that keeps uploading videos of him singing in the United top, acting like Højlund can stop singing. I'm sick of that guy. Rasmus Højlund has finally scored a big Premier League goal, and it's a winner in a comeback 3-2 against Villa after being 2-0 down at Old Trafford. And honestly, I think this episode was going to take a whole different twist after 30 minutes of that game. I was going to come here with so much negative energy. You guys know I'm one of the most positive United fans, or try to be at least. I like to think I'm a realist, but a lot of people like to say I'm very positive, maybe sometimes too positive. I was going to come here with so much bad vibes. But after that performance, after that comeback, after that turnaround shown by the players to have the passion, the desire to not let the season just die out, to not let the game just die out after being 2-0 down, after some poor errors, you have to give the players some credit, to be honest. And it feels kind of weird. It feels conflicted because I don't even want to give the players credit because it's their fault that we got into that mess in the first place. Maybe some blame can lie on the gaffer as well. I just know if we lost this game, potentially even just drew this game, there would have been a lot more of the fan base crying out for Ten Hag to get sacked. And I would have almost understood it. I've been backing Ten Hag from the beginning, even throughout this horrible, horrible season. But another defeat at Old Trafford today, even I might have been saying it's time to go. Because even today, some of the decisions he was making was questionable. But before I get onto the negatives and positives as such, I just want to say thank you to the guys, the boys that put in the performance and at least got a win away from this. Villa, overall, I'll probably think they're pretty disappointed. After they went 2-0 up, it's like they took their foot off the gas. Did they really create any major chances? Not really. They scored 2 goals from set pieces. Let's take a look at the game like I usually do. I want to give a massive shout out to Rasmus Højlund, man. I know he's been crying out for the goal. He's been dying for that goal, and he's finally got it. You saw it in the passion in his celebration. You saw the gaffer go up to him after the game. I'm sure it meant a lot to him. Looking at the starting lineup beforehand, I wasn't really surprised by anything except the fact that I personally would have preferred to have Amrabat in the middle with Mainu and Bruno Fernandes, but I get bringing Eriksen in there. He's a good technical footballer and it makes sense, but I just don't want to see Mainu being played in the 6 when I feel like his ball playing ability, his technical ability and the way he progresses with the ball and is able to carry the ball and make sensible decisions to pass it forward. I'd like to see him in the 8, and I'd like to see Amrabat sitting in the holding midfield to allow Bruno Fernandes to also go attack. Putting Eriksen in there probably means that Bruno is going to play more of the 8 rather than the 10, and I've been crying out to see Bruno in his best position, but we've won the game and Bruno has had an effective game, a very effective game. Eriksen played a few nice passes. Mainu's done a decent job in that holding role, so I guess I can't complain too much. Taking it on to the positives of the game first, because I've got to be realistic, and I felt like the vibes and energy I had after that first 30 minutes, maybe even after the first half, was so low, and I don't think the comeback can kind of paper over the cracks. I can't be blinded by that comeback because there are serious questions about this United team. Taking it on to the positives of the game, Garnacho. I think he's been taking a lot of criticism recently because of some of his decision making, some of his physicality hasn't been strong enough. Today you have to praise him for his desire, his positivity, his directness alone, because he was the guy, even when we were losing, you give him the ball, he was turning and he was going at his man, he was going towards the Aston Villa goal, and you have to be grateful for that, because without him, without his desire, that energy feeds off onto other players. Because of him, you can see Bruno come into the game more, you can see Rashford trying to find him more. That kind of energy spreads to the team, and we need to start off games like that and last like that for 90 minutes. So I want to say a big massive shout out to Garnacho. 2 good finishes. Also had the disallowed goal, obviously, when he was offside, very marginal offside, and hopefully with more maturity and decision making he won't be making the same mistakes. But you have to give the boy credit, playing on his weaker side, on the right hand side. gave it was all until the 90th minute. You could see him getting cramp at the end. Well done, Viva Garnacho. I want to praise Højlund because I know some of his movement was being questioned by the commentators. You can't blame the kid. So many times he makes good runs and the players don't find him. And Rashford had a much better game than he has done in usual games, especially after the 2 goals or after like the 40-minute mark. But a lot of the time, Rashford doesn't find him. A lot of the time, Garnacho doesn't find him. And we've seen the stats. Højlund gets the lowest passes into a forward than any other forward in the league. So it's clear that he's been getting so frustrated. And he gets bullied by a lot of defenders because they're putting 2 guys on 1 striker, and he's a young 20-year-old, and he's obviously clearly being very frustrated. He's got memes going around all over the internet. I'm sick of that guy that goes viral, that sings that miracle song. Rasmus Højlund, well done to you, finally getting a goal, a Premier League goal. I'm so happy for you. Great finish as well from Højlund. I also want to shout out Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Some of his tackles in that game were absolutely phenomenal, and I know that's going to get forgotten by a lot of people. Evans and Varane did well, up except for the goals. Maybe we can talk about that in a bit, in the negatives. Any other positives? Bruno Fernandes, honestly, I thought we had a sensational game after the first 30 minutes, after the 2 goals that we conceded. His desire and his work ethic to nip into possession and get the ball back off the Villa players and move it forward. Some of his passes to Rashford were outstanding. Some of his link-up play with Christian Eriksen was very good to build us up the pitch. Yeah, that's what I've got to say about Bruno. Rashford, well done to you. I thought he played a lot better in the second half, especially tried to find some passes. Some of those passes he's making to Garnacho previously probably would have taken a shot. At one point he even did that in the second half. He could have gone across goal. Højlund was there, but he went for a shot and he went out for a goal kick from his left foot. But a bit more sensible decision making from Rashford, some positivity. Hopefully he gets some confidence boosted from that, because I'll get into it in the negatives. Any other positives from that game? I'm not so sure, to be honest. Just the intensity and the work rate and desire to get back into the game and win the game from the boys was excellent, and that's what I'll give to them. Moving on to the negatives, and I'm going to be honest with you. I know I just praised Rashford, but some of that body language in the first half was absolutely disgraceful. And it got to the point when I was like, you know, I'm one of Rashford's bigger supporters. I got to the point in that first half at certain times where I was like, you know what, get rid of this guy. Just because Højlund's made a bad pass, just because Garnacho's made a bad pass or Evans made a bad pass, doesn't mean you start throwing your hands in the air, your arms in the air, and start having a hissy fit. You keep fighting for the team. Like I said, the same way positivity spreads throughout the team, negativity also spreads throughout the team. We've already got enough negativity because of the Glazers and everything stemming down from there. So then it doesn't help that when your academy player that's come through the ranks and is meant to be one of our senior players now starts throwing his arms up in the air, is making an offside run all the time. And he's not even doing his job properly this season himself for him to be thinking he's validated in throwing his arms out like that. You better put in a shift for 90 minutes. I don't care how you feel frustrated. A lot of it has been down to you yourself this season. I'm sick and tired of sticking up for him. That's Marcus Rashford, and fair play, he lifted up his performance in the second half. I still think there's so many levels to go in Marcus's game. Hopefully he builds it up from here, man, because honestly, I was getting so close to saying get rid of that guy. Onana project I am done with. I've tried to stick up for him. Like I've said, you guys know I'm so positive. I try to be supportive of individuals and the team, the manager, as much as I can. That Onana project has failed. Get rid of that guy in January. I'm done. That first free kick, how are you getting clowned by Bailey behind you and you're getting distracted by that? If you need to push him out the way, bruv. And secondly, the ball has dropped in front of you or is right in front of you. It's like 30 centimetres away, 1 metre away at max, and you've let it guide into the corner. And I get it, other goalkeepers have done that. I'm sure many other goalkeepers will do that. But mistake after mistake in this season, so many times, he's cost us with individual errors, and it's just too much. Well, we're about halfway into the season, and how many mistakes has he made that have cost us? I know he's been pretty decent in Premier League, he's made good saves, his distribution and all that, but these individual errors are going to cost us. You lose a goal like that you concede the first goal of the game like that, the rest of your teammates' heads dropped, and that's what happened. It's too costly, and I don't feel safe with that guy in goal now. I can't trust that he's going to come out and make a good save. I can't trust that he's going to make a save and it's going to rebound. probably out of bounds because he's going to fall into opposition player. I just don't feel safe anymore with that guy in goal. The second goal, absolutely schoolboy error. How have they got about 3-man free at the back post? The defending is absolutely abysmal. I don't know if you're doing zonal, if you're doing man marking, whatever it is, it's not working. And our set pieces are so bad. How many of our throw-ins go to the opposition player? How many of our throw-ins go to our player and it's at the wrong height, so they're not capable of passing it back a simple 1-2 from a throw-in? How many of our corners go out and get hit by the first man of the opposition? Who is our set piece coach and whatever he's doing is not working. I'm sick and tired of it. Also, I forgot to mention Mainu in the positives. I want to say I thought he battled really hard in that number 6 role and kept the ball moving really well, found his teammates. He's part of that intense press and pressure. Overall, I think, look, match roundup, serious question marks, and I'm going to bring it to Ten Hag because I know some people say I'm too positive on Ten Hag and I try to back him too supportive too many times, and I get that. I still have faith in him overall, but I don't know, like looking after a performance like this and then also the Liverpool game, obviously the Bayern game where we lost, but you can see the players putting in a shift for him, but I guess overall there's not good enough and you can't blame individual errors on him. He's obviously been picking McTominay a lot of the time. He dropped him today, thankfully. He dropped Anthony today, thankfully, as well. It's a weird one. Let me know in the comments, what do you guys at home think? Is he out of his depth? Or is it just the players? Is it the negativity surrounding the club? Obviously, we just got Jim Ratcliffe has come in and he's got his 25% shareholder now. Shares, sorry. So he's going to come in and control the footballing side, supposedly. I just need to see more from Ten Hag. I've been supporting him so much, and I know we've got a lot of injuries, but I'm not sure anymore. And that's not a good thing. What do you guys think? Let me know. Looking ahead, we've got Nottingham Forest on Saturday, and I watched their game today against Newcastle. I thought some of their counter-attacking play was very good. Newcastle are probably a better side than us right now in terms of how they're playing. Obviously, I think they've got 5 losses in the last 6, though. But Nottingham Forest, they got a new manager, Nuno. I'm not confident, to be honest. We're going to go away from home. We're not good away from home either. Nottingham Forest look like they've got players that are going to put in a shift. Elanga is probably going to score against us, which doesn't fill me with any confidence. Morgan Gibbs-White is a baller. A lot of that Nottingham Forest team put in a very good shift, especially at home. So more things to be worried about, man. I just hope Ten Hag does better with the resources he has. Anyway, sorry about the content recently, or lack of content. I've been a bit busy, but I'm going to be smashing out the content from this video onwards, hopefully. Make sure you like the video, please. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure you get in the comments and let me know your thoughts on the game and the manager especially. This is a Between the Lines podcast. I'm your host, Adnan. See you on the next one. Peace out. Between the Lines.